Welcome back to the podcast. I am super thrilled this week to share with you guys Dionne Woods. Yes, the famous one and only turquoise iris Dionne Woods. She is lives in the Oklahoma City. I didn't even know she was so close to me with her husband Matt. She has two sons, and we have so much in common we didn't even realize. So, Dionne, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I appreciate you inviting me to share a little bit of my story. And yeah, we're only like 2 hours from each other. And I'm sharing my heart with a baseball mom today. So we're at that season, and both of us were tearing up just a few minutes ago. So thanks for having me today.
It's crazy. We sometimes get really wrapped up in the business part. I know I do, of all the things, and we forget about that personal side that we all have in common. So I love that. So Dionne, let's dive right in because there is so much that you have to share with all the listeners today about what it is you do and what it is that maybe even they could benefit from. So tell us kind of where this journey started in a nutshell and how you got to where you are today.
Well, speaking of those two boys, like so many other creative people, that's what inspired me and encouraged me to press forward in how do I make money and help my family, but also be at the ballpark. That was my main driving force. Every time they would break a bat and need new cleats because their feet would not stop growing, right? It was kind of like, I am a creative person. What can I do? So in 2010, Etsy shop, flipping things, thrifting things, doing all these things until the one day, Mel, may I call you Mel? I didn't mean to do that. It's a habit.
It's totally fine.
I'm a nickname kind of person. So I'm like, we're instant friends. As soon as you meet me, we're friends, right? So I just painted a piece of furniture, and I was using the cheapest latex paint I could find from, the hardware store. And I put it on Etsy and it sold. And then I had to figure out, how am I going to ship something to New Orleans? I'm in Oklahoma. So that became a 5-year deal of shipping on the bus, painting more furniture, realizing that I could make $500 versus a $5 profit on making something like a pillowcase or a tablecloth or curtains like I was doing. So moving into the blogging world and connecting with Miss Mustard Seed, Miriam Parsons, and connecting with other bloggers, I started getting paint sent to me, chalk paint sent to me from paint companies because they were seeing my work on Pinterest and social media. And I was using all of this, and I had one particular brand, which is who I still use 6 years later, DIY Paint. Debbie Beard is the owner. And she said, just try it. And I'm like, no, I have plenty of paint. I don't need a bunch of paint, but she was very persistent, which I appreciate. It's a clay-based paint. Put it on my furniture and realize there's something different about this. It helped me become a better artist. So while I'm playing around with techniques and I'm using 8 colors, and I was doing something kind of that boho was, people started using the word boho, Melanie. So I just kind of fell into that category, whether I realized it or not. And I started mixing my colors, creating something, finger painting on furniture, and doing things that people hadn't seen before. And thanks to Facebook Live, I started building a community, and I had to push the play button because, again, of those kids. That's always been my driving force. Still my why to this day, showing them that dreams can come true. Didn't even really know what my dreams were, other than to help take care of them and offer them something that maybe they wouldn't have if I had not leaned into my own artistic abilities. The community that gave back to me, I opened my membership group, and one membership group opened to the next, to the next, to the next. And we've had up to 600 women who I teach every single week, training, social media, marketing, staging, photography, painting. I even have a book club in there because the group has never been just about furniture painting. It's always been a lifestyle group too. So in a nutshell, that's how I started. And then that kind of brings me up into about 2020.
So we're still 3 years out. I love it.
Yes.
So you have implemented something that started out as like a little hobby, just something to make sure you could make an income with this gift that you have to create art with your talents. And till now. And so you talked about multiple membership groups. Tell us a little bit about what each of those is.
So the first one is called the Creative Connection. It's $37 a month and it entails so many different things. We have like, well, I opened it in 2017, so we're running on our 6th year. And members can join and they get access to all of that content. But the reason I did it initially was because I was missing community and I was crying in my garage. Nobody understood what I was doing. I'd get to the ballpark, I'd show up, and nobody understood how bad I had worked, so bad. And I don't know why it was important for me, but because of my personality, I didn't want people to think I was just a sit at home, stay at home mom who wasn't busting her tail, which I was doing, using every minute. And then in the evenings, and the kids would go to bed after story time, we would go back out to the garage and I would still just be, and it was important for me to find a community, Melanie, because I was doing what I loved, but I wasn't happy. I don't know if that's even possible, but it was. I was lonely, girl. I was crying in the garage. I was, just at the time, 6 years ago, there weren't a lot of opportunities. You could connect online, but you didn't have those really strong connections, which now I do retreats, I do in-person workshops, and they're my favorite, like that face-to-face connection that you don't get with anything else. Then from there, a couple of years after that, I jumped into a Rachel Hollis conference in Dallas, Texas. And I came home with a fire underneath me. And I thought, I can do more. There's more to me. And so I launched Empowered by Design, which is a one-on-one coaching group, meaning 20 women, they get weekly training. And then those women get a 1-hour coaching call with me specific to their needs in their business every single month. So that was like a 6-month course. And then I've kind of altered that a little bit. I've made it a little bit smaller. And then I've opened up just one-on-one coaching. So people can just hire me for however long for one-on-one coaching. And like I said, I host 2 to 3 retreats per year in different parts of the country. And in 2020, where we couldn't do retreats, girl, I thought my heart was going to break, right? I couldn't be with my friends. I couldn't teach in person anymore. So my copywriter and editor, my current editor for the Turquoise Irish Journal, who is of course a dear friend as well, she says, you should really do a magazine. You're really good at this kind of stuff. And I said, you got to be kidding me. I've never done that. She said, me neither, but let's see what we can do. So because of her confidence in me and because of the team that I started to implement, I've got a web designer. She does so much for me. I have someone who manages all my memberships and helps me with so many other things. It's kind of like a personal assistant that has also become a dear best friend. And we launched in 2020 a digital version of the Turquoise Iris Journal magazine, where I got to feature all of these creatives who I had connected with over the years, giving them an opportunity to show their imagery, post a video. They could click a link and then our subscribers could watch a tutorial. And from there, after 2 years, which in 2022, last October, we launched a print version because all these ladies said, I just really want a real magazine, like a paper one. Of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of a paper shortage and we're going into a recession. And this ding dong wants to start a magazine, right? So here we are. We're getting ready to print our 4th volume this summer. And the Turquoise Iris Journal is more of a book style because it's really thick. It's really good quality. But the last volume, we featured 21 creative people all over the world. Our cover artist was from the Ukraine and all different genres. And I think the podcast became a way for me to support that, like their sisters, support people in the magazine or on the podcast. And at this point, I just figure, why not? I'm stepping into being creative and showing other people how they can also do this, leaning into what makes their heart pound deeper, harder, what gives them their energy and what gives them their life. And just being the best cheerleader that I can be is what I'm doing.
Wow. That's like all I could say is, wow. All right. So Dionne, you have really snowballed this thing from just a little thing that you did out in your garage and shared and shipped and did things like that to this full-blown 4 memberships and the journal and retreats and in-person events. So I know that you have something you've gone even further out to do, and it's your newest, latest, and greatest. Tell us a little bit about Made TV Network.
I sure will. Thank you for asking about that too. So in a year, just over a year ago, I started painting on, well, a year and a half ago, I started painting on a wedding dress, Melanie. I had this idea because the paint company, Debbie, with Debbie's Design Diary and the DIY paint, she said to me, here's your new line of paint colors. Pick your colors. They're called Bohemian Brights. And in my mind, as a marketing person, also, I thought, how am I going to help sell this stuff? I got to get attention. So I painted like a disco ball. And that was fun, but that didn't really get the attention that I was hoping for. So I got a thrifted dress. My Michelle, I call her. She brought me some wedding dresses from a thrift store that had only been worn once. I start painting them. And it's this whole other realm of creativity that just started resurfacing within me. I was just like, whoa, I'm painting on fabric and satin and dresses. And the clay in the paint was so magical to me. So I then got reached to by Bloom TV Network. And they said, we want to feature you and can you be one of our experts? Well, Bloom is now a sister to the brand new network called Made TV. And I get to be the person that is featured as their first pilot for Made TV, which is a streaming network all about makers, just like us, Melanie. It's just like us. So creatives, artists, any type of creative endeavor, we get to be featured. And so it's going to be a niched network streaming at some point. The hope is that it's not just streaming, it's actually on the big screen. And it will launch this summer. So now that we are in May, it will be launching in just a few weeks. My pilot was filmed at my retreat in February. And we are going to be, I won't tell exactly what our topic is and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to be filming. And I really just feel so honored to have a platform to share your story and just know that there might be a greater way to connect with people. It's such a gift.
Yes, yes. So we will put down in the show notes kind of details of where you can find out more and how maybe you can participate with the Made TV network.
Absolutely. It's madetvnetwork.com. And you can apply. All of you guys listening can actually apply to become a maker, submitting your videos. And they want to make TV shows. And so it's open to everybody. You don't have to have a large following. You can have 100 people following you on social media, but you can still have your own show. So it's a wonderful platform. I'm so honored to be a part of it.
Where does it air right now? Like, where is it? Where can we
So
find it?
when we launch in February, when we launch next month. So at this point, if you go to madetvnetwork.com, it's just going to look like a website. But in just a few weeks, they will be able to stream it. So once they get up on your computer, you'll be able to stream it through Made TV Network. You'll be able to pick your category you want to watch. You'll be able to, it's not like YouTube because it's niched into all makers. So you're going to go to your fiber artists, your canvas artists, your furniture artists, your photographers, your quilters. And from there, they'll open up an app. And so we can all just walk around with their little phones and we'll be able to click the app and start watching and streaming that way as well. There is a $9.99 streaming fee, just the way Magnolia was with Chip and Jo when they launched Magnolia. It was a $10 fee to stream their shows. And as they've grown, I think that they've waived that fee, or I don't even know if they still charge that, but it's a small network building from the ground up, and the heart and passion behind Monica, Michelle, and Devin. And now they're partnering with Joe Packham, which for those of you that know Where Women Create magazine, Joe Packham was the editor for 17 years of that fabulous magazine. And she's been in media for 47 years. So I am honored to be learning from her and kind of having her as a mentor.
That is so exciting. I cannot wait to see how all of that comes to fruition for you guys.
Thank you.
So let's backtrack a little bit because I've heard you hint a couple times about some things. And I think a lot of listeners would really want to learn a little bit more about this and maybe the process you went through. You have lots of tools that you have branded. So I heard you mention that your collaboration with DIY paints and you had like some paint colors. And then also I know you have a relationship with Paint Pixie. And if there's any others that I'm missing, just tell us how like someone else could maybe try to get on board with a brand.
Absolutely. So mentioning Paint Pixie, Jerry and Josie, who own Paint Pixie, came to my workshop in Oklahoma City years ago and said, we would like to private label for you your own line of brushes and your water girl, and then your art brushes and then your palette knives. And it just really kind of grew from there. We have a very close kind of more family type relationship because it's grown over the years. Love them dearly, love their products, love that they're quality. They insist on high quality products. I'll tell you, both of those relationships happened kind of organically because I am very loyal. And once I love a product, I'm hooked. I don't need a wide variety. So what happened was I just started using the brushes that Josie sent me, and she appreciated that loyalty. I talked about it. It's part of what I was going live 3 times a week for the last 6 years. And I'm on my very first break because of Holden being a senior. But for the last 6 years, I have gone live 3 nights a week on Facebook and sometimes Instagram and YouTube at the same time, all 3 platforms, trying to reach the largest audience and talking about the product. So if you are a maker and you use a product on a regular basis, make sure you're telling people. Reach out to the owners of the company. Say, I love this product. Ask for affiliate links. Ask for, very often they would just send me free product just to use. Here, we have a new thing. Tell people what you think. Write blogs about it. And it's a really good working relationship if they're sending you free product and all you have to do is use it. We need to cut costs as makers any way that we can. So if you get an opportunity to use some free brushes, and then be honest with their feedback. I know, as myself, if someone uses something or if someone's carrying one of my handbags or wearing one of my hats and they have a problem with it, I need to know about it so I can correct it. And I appreciate the honesty and the trust. On the other hand, when someone takes a picture of one of my hats and they post it on social media and tag me, it's such a beautiful way to do PR for someone and building up that relationship. Don't be bashful. If you want to try something, reach out to people. If you love a paint company, reach out and say, I'm using this anyway. Is there anything that we can do? That's the main thing that I have to encourage women to do in my group. Don't be that bashful when in turn you are helping each other. Have that working open discussion, have a working relationship at all possible. And if you're using a product that you truly love, build a relationship with the manufacturer or with the owner of the company. Just get on in there. Don't wait for them to contact you. You've got nothing to lose.
Definitely. I second that. Dionne, looking back and currently where you're at with all the different revenue streams, what revenue, which things would you have implemented sooner had you known how wonderful they were going to be?
That's a great question. And I'm not going to lie to you. I believe in the timing of everything. And if I wasn't ready to do the things that I didn't do until I did them. I'm going to be honest with you. Starting the membership group has obviously been my largest source of income that is consistent. But the thing with that, Melanie, is I was not ready. I didn't have the confidence or the belief in myself. And all of that came from pushing the play button on Facebook and going live and realizing I had something really valuable to offer. And then seeing me kind of pave my own way for my own style and believing in myself. I didn't have that even 10 years ago, Melanie. I'm 47, and I have struggled with self-confidence, shyness. And the first time I pushed live almost 7 years ago on Facebook, nothing came out of my mouth. I was sweating. I couldn't breathe. I am the girl that quit jobs because they asked me to do something in front of people. I've, got sick in the car in the middle of a meeting and had to leave the room and come back because I threw up in my car. Like just trying to be, I'm so introverted and have been so shy my whole life. And this business pulled me out of that. Going live, standing up and just doing the hard thing and then doing it over and over and over again till it wasn't hard. I am the person to speak on that. And that's why I am so passionate about helping other creatives do those things, because I don't want to say I would have done this type of thing sooner for me. I want you to believe in the timing of things. And if you feel like it's taking forever, I want you to understand It may feel like forever, but there's a reason. Because if I looked back now and thought, if I had tried to start a group 10 years ago, I don't think it would have lasted. I wasn't ready. If I had tried to start a magazine 3 years ago without having all of the other things in place before 3 years ago, should I say, let's say 5 years ago, I needed the certain staff. I needed the particular people in my life. Even I even needed the right iPhone. I needed to be able to afford the right iPhone to take pictures. Like, there are certain things that have just fell into place, and trusting the timing. So it may not be the answer that you are looking for, but it's my answer.
No, it's a fabulous answer. I love that answer. It totally kind of is something that we can all dig into and relate with. That was the word I was like, we can all relate to that feeling of not enough confidence. People ask me all the time, about the, when does it get easier? When does it? And I always just say, I get nervous every single time I hit that button. It does not go away. And, so you literally just do it over and over and over to get you where you need to be.
That's what you
And
do.
you do build confidence through that. So that's definitely awesome, awesome advice. I love it. So Dionne, where can we find you online?
You can find me all different places. So my website is theturquoiseiris.com. And that is where you will find all my merchandise, all the links to my memberships, retreats, my coaching opportunities, all of those things are there. The turquoiseirisjournal.com is where we house our digital version of our magazine and where you can subscribe to the paper copy. It's also where you can listen to all of the links to our podcast, read the blogs, but I'm on Pinterest. Love Pinterest. Really, really heavy on Pinterest. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm probably missing something, but YouTube also. And then of course coming up will be Made TV. So if you're not a subscriber to Bloom TV, you can also check that out because I do have videos on there as well. But all of that can basically be found on the turquoiseiris.com.
Yay. Awesome. We'll put all of that down in the show notes, of course, with direct links so everybody can find you. But let me ask you one last question.
Yes, ma'am.
What advice would you give yourself back at the beginning? I know you sort of touched on this, but like if you were just getting started, like you were back in your garage, what advice would you give yourself looking back now?
Ask for help. I don't have to know everything. I also need to forgive myself for not knowing everything and thinking I did. I would have asked for help. I would have collaborated earlier. I would have maybe the advice I would have given myself is, girl, you do not have to know everything. You just need to ask for help, and don't be a martyr. Don't break your back. Don't try to do all of these things that it can wait till 6 o'clock. It doesn't have to be done at 3 p.m. It can be done at 6. I think that's probably what I would tell myself. Ask for help. It's really hard for a lot of us.
I agree. I agree. Well, that is awesome. Dionne, thank you so much for being on here and taking the time out of your schedule. Good luck with the kiddos and the baseball. And hopefully I can come up and visit you soon.
That'd be amazing. That would absolutely be amazing. Thank you for having me on here, Melanie. And if there's anything, maybe I need to have you on my podcast too sometime. So I hope we could connect in that way.
That would be awesome. That would be
Thank
awesome. All righty. You guys, don't forget, stay creative. No one is you, and that is your superpower. Bye-bye.
Bye.